All right. Hello, hello, all my Paint Diva friends. We are going to go live in a few minutes. So I'm just getting everybody on here now, just so that you know that I'm live. Take your time, grab a drink, grab your favorite beverage. We're going to go live in a few minutes. We're going to paint this beautiful painting tonight called Reflections. So we're just going to kind of wait for everybody to kind of grab their stuff, get everything together, and then we are going to go live. Say hello, let me know who you are, let me know where you are from, give me some love. I will excuse myself right off the top because I had a wisdom tooth pulled last week. So if I talk like a little bit of a marble mouth, please forgive me. But we're gonna have lots and lots of fun. All right. This is such a pretty one. We're gonna do this one. We're gonna celebrate Pride Month this month. We're gonna use more of the rainbow colors tonight. And then we are going to be all set to go, okay? All right, guys, as always, yes, the painting will stay up for a little while afterwards. It will also be available on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed to that, please make sure that you go and do that. And you can catch these videos anytime, any place. You can stop and start them as much as you want. Wow, Rachel, welcome from New Zealand. This is fantastic. I'm very excited. I think you're our longest distance traveler so far. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you. So like I said, these are going to stay up. We're going to have some fun. We're not even going to use a single paintbrush. And we're going to paint our painting. We're going to have and celebrate some pride. Okay. So again, like I said, my name is Kim. I am the Paint Diva. We are going to paint reflections and we are going to celebrate a little bit of pride. And we're going to have some fun. You guys can choose whatever colors you want to choose. I'm going to use the rainbow flag colors tonight, but if you want to make it more muted, and you want yours to look a little softer, then just add some white to whatever paint colors that you're using. Like I said, I'd like to welcome all of you. I had surgery last week. I had a wisdom tooth pulled at my age, go figure. So if I talk a little marbly tonight, I do forgive you. Please forgive me. And just bear patience. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. Okay, so we are going to use kitchen sponges tonight. Handy dandy kitchen sponges. We are going to use cut up kitchen sponges. We're going to use some Q-tips or cotton swabs. We're going to use a rubber spatula. And we're going to use something for a sharp edge. I'm going to use just a hand cream tube. We're just going to use this sharp edge to make some branches later. I am feeling okay. I just feel like I have marbles in my mouth when I'm talking sometimes. Nothing that a little bit of painkillers aren't going to cure, right? Okay, so we're just going to give it another minute. Everybody's ready. I got your favorite beverage. We are going to keep this on afterwards, like I said, and then we're going to have some fun. Okay? All right, we ready? Here we go. I'm going to take it away. Da, 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 da. And we have a blank canvas. Okay, let me know where you guys are from. We've got New Zealand in the house today. We've got Aurelia in the house today. I know we've got Michelle from Barrie in the house today, which makes it very, very exciting. New Zealand, can you believe that? I'm in New Zealand. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our sponge, and it's dry. No paint on there, nothing on there at all. And we're just going to take a little bit of white. So just got some white paint on the edge. Montreal, welcome Montreal, El Monte, Newfoundland, wow. Welcome, thank you guys for sharing. This is really exciting for me. Okay, so I'm going to take this white little sponge some white paint, and we're just going to give it a nice light coat right across our canvas. Because right now, currently, if you're using a canvas, it's just been primed with gesso. Now, gesso's a great base to lay your paint colors down on. But if you're painting mostly with a white background, you do want to add a little bit of white paint to that canvas. And I'm just going across side to side with my white paint. It'll just make it a little nicer. And anybody who's painted with me before, you know that I always suggest that you paint the edges, the tops, and the sides, and the bottom of your canvas with some paint so that your canvas won't shrink too much over time. And then when canvas shrinks over time, it can cause your paint to crack. If you want to use, you can use whatever colors you want to use. We're going to just paint with the rainbow colors tonight. You guys are going to get to paint with whatever colors you've got kicking around and whatever colors make you feel good. Welcome, Peterborough. Welcome, Toronto. Yay! So glad to see so many of you guys on. So all I want you to do is just a nice, quick brush of color right across your canvas, just to get that little bit of paint on there. All right, and when you guys get to that spot, then you let me know, and then we're moving on to the next stage, which is Q-tip time. Hello from Kirkfield. Welcome, Kirkfield. Okay, don't forget, give me some thumbs up or just let me know that you're ready to go when you're ready to move on to the next stage. I hope everybody's having a lovely day. I think a lot of places in this world are ease restrictions a little bit, which is wonderful. So we're going to just make sure that everybody's all up to date and all caught up and ready to go. I think it looks like we've got some thumbs up. Looks like we're ready for the next stage. Okay, so I want everybody to grab their Q-tip. If you don't have a Q-tip and you're using paintbrushes and you want to use just a fine paintbrush, fine tip, that's all you need. You're going to dip it in a little bit of black for me, just like that. Okay, and all you're going to do is you're going to just, so I'm just going to go like this, and I'm just going to kind of go wherever the Q-tip wants me to go. I'm not making a straight line. I want it to look a little bit rocky and a little bit curvy. And that's all I'm going to do, is just make a line, a funky line, about 3/4 of the way down my canvas, just like that. That's all I'm going to do. Pretty easy so far, yeah? I think everybody's got that. I hope so. I hope you're feeling like that's pretty easy to do so. That's all we got to do. Just a funky little wavy line. Okay. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take that same Q-tip and we're just going to make some lines. They're not going to go straight up and down. They're going to go on a little bit of an angle. Okay, and you're going to touch really, really, really lightly on your canvas. A few lines of barely there paint. Okay, notice that they're just really light colors. So just like that. Nothing too heavy. A few V shapes. Maybe a couple chicken feet. Just like that. That's all I want you to do. Just a few lines. Hey, Mickey, welcome from BC. So that's all I want you to do. Just a few little lines. Just with that black little bit. You'll notice that they're really light. They're barely there. And all that's doing is it's just kind of going to give us a few little branches, a few little areas. Okay. Guys, let me know when you've got your lines on and you're ready for the next step. Welcome from St. Thomas. Hi, Donna. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Okay, guys, so we've got a few little lines just kind of hanging out up in the top. And then we've got a little line going about 3/4 of the way down our canvas. All right. So just hang tight. If we do get disconnected for some reason or another, I will get back on, but my feed seems to be working so far okay. If you're having some problems, Michelle, maybe just close your browser and open it up again. All right, guys, so now we are going to start adding some color. So like I said to you, I'm going to do mine in the colors of Pride, the Pride flag, because June is Pride Month. So I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to start over here with red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my wedges. You get a square, if you've got a square. If you've got a rectangle, use a rectangle. If you've got a triangle, use a triangle. Whatever way you want to do it. If you've got a big one, just use the corner edge. Okay? So I'm just going to dip my sponge just like that into some red paint. Okay. And trees generally grow like this, and then they come down, get a little narrow, and then get a little fatter at the bottom. So that's what we're going to do here. So I'm just going to make quick little dabs with some red paint all along the edge of my canvas. And I'm going right over that black that we put on there earlier. And if it's a little bit wet, the black's a little bit wet, that's okay. Because we're going to add colors to this later as well. And I'm going down, and I'm going to make it a little bit funkier at the bottom, make it a little bit fatter, and I'm going to go over that second line a little bit, just like that. And maybe my branch is going to stick over there. And that's my red tree, just like that. Lisa, welcome from Newfoundland. So that's our funky red tree just right there. Just kind of live in there, whichever way you want them to live. And I just used the corner of one of my little sponges. And I just made that grow wherever it wanted to grow. Don't worry about being too precise, because we're going to come back and we're going to add some colors in here later, okay? Everybody with me? Easy peasy, right? Just dab a few little dabs of color kind of here and there, wherever you want your color to live. And that's your tree. Okay. You guys let me know. When you're ready, and we'll move on to the next one. So this one, I'm going to just grab another sponge. And this time I'm going in to live in the orange world. So we've got some orange paint happening. Everybody's ready? All right, here we go. So now I'm gonna add some orange. I'm gonna make an orange tree. My orange tree is gonna kind of live over here too. And some of my orange might go over top of my yellow a little bit, or over my red, I mean, pardon me. I'm just gonna kind of let that orange, and he's gonna just kind of live wherever he wants to live. And you'll notice that I'm taking some of that orange and I'm overlapping it into the red tree, because I want that red tree to not be living by himself. And you'll see that as I'm doing that, grabbing some of that orange there, some of those colors are starting just right in there. I got some orange and red kind of blending together. And then maybe a little bit of black's gonna live over there, and that's okay because we're gonna use those as shadows later. So that's my funky little orange tree. He's gonna just kind of have a funky little branch going like that, just because I want him to have a funky little branch. That's my orange tree. Just like that. Okay, guys, if you're just watching and enjoying, welcome. If you want to do this later, I'm going to leave this up on my Facebook page for a little while, and I'm also going to put it onto my YouTube channel. So if you've liked the page, The Paint Diva, you'll be able to go onto my page, give it a like, and just scroll down, and you're going to find a post that says "Great News" with my little Bitmoji girl on it, and it'll give you the link for my YouTube page. And from there, you can go on to that page, that YouTube channel, pardon me, get my lingo right, and then you can like my channel, and then you can see, and those will stay up there forever and ever and a day. Okay, so we've got some red, we've got some orange, we need some yellow. Are we ready? We're ready to move on with the yellow next? Give me a thumbs up, let me know when we're ready to add some yellow. Make our yellow tree live. You guys let me know, because I just want to go at a pace that's comfortable for everybody. Yeah, I got some thumbs up. Looks like we're going to be ready to go. All right, we're going on. We're moving forward. Okay, guys, so now, next color is yellow. And same thing, same process that we just did with our orange and our red. Now we're gonna make our yellow tree live. And again, you're going right over those black branches, as they're just gonna be barely there by the time we're done. And I got some yellow kind of blending in there with my orange a little bit. My little yellow tree, he's gonna live right about there. And he's gonna be a little bit smaller maybe than my orange one. But his branches are gonna live kind of over top of that one too. Just like that. Just quick little dabs. You don't have to be too precise. Wherever they feel good, wherever you want them to work. Just like that. Now we got a yellow tree. I'm gonna grab another sponge, another little chunk. Then we're going to move on to green next. So we got some happy little trees living here. Yes, we do, Miss Poppy Rose. All right, so we got red, we've got orange, and we've got yellow. So of course, next on the flag is green. Okay, it's the same thing. This green, happy little green tree. He's living here beside Mr. Yellow. And you can decide how big or how little you want your trees to be. They can be whatever size you want them to be. They can be as tall as you want. They can be as short as you want. They can be as skinny as you want. just like that. We got some green happening in a green tree. Maybe that green one's going to have a branch going like that. And there's my green tree. Same with my blue. So I'm going to make a blue tree. He's going to live right about there. A blue tree. And he's going to have some branches that are going to overflow into my green. Just like that. There's my blue tree. Doesn't look like a whole lot right now, but I promise you guys it will. And then last but not least, of course, is our purple. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing. And remember, he's going to live around the edge of our canvas too. Okay. And there's our purple tree. He's just moving right in there for the kill. Lots of purple. And there's our purple tree. If you can see that or not. Move it right over. It's just right over here. Just right over on the edge. Okay. So there's our purple tree. Doesn't look a whole lot like trees right now, but they will. So we've got lots of color living. Okay, you guys let me know when you're ready, and then we'll move on to the next step. I said if you want to make it softer and you want to use just pastel colors, if you want to use the brighter colors like I'm doing and doing the Pride Flag Parade, we've got our own parade happening right here. Okay, so you guys let me know when you're ready, and then we'll move on to the next phase. Just give me a few check marks, give me a thumbs up, give me a little bit of love, let me know how you're doing. We're going to make it all beautiful. Fantastic. I've got some thumbs happening. I think we're probably there. I hope so. Okay, so the name of this painting is called Reflections. So our shoreline's here, it's all kind of rocky. We have to make the reflection of the trees in the water. So you're going to take all those little sponges that you just used earlier. So I'm going to go back into my red, and I'm just going to make a few little lines underneath my red tree. And as I'm going closer to the bottom of the canvas, those lines are getting smaller. Everybody see that? Just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my orange. And I'm just making a few lines, just zigzag lines, kind of back and forth. So just zigzag lines, kind of back and forth in the water. And they're getting smaller as they get closer to the bottom of the canvas. Now remember what I said is that, and the colors kind of blend in together and beside each other. That's okay, because it's water. It's the illusion of water down below. So it's gonna look like the colors kind of blend together anyway. Just like that. And it's just a little zigzag kind of back and forth. Almost up to the black line, but not quite touching it. Just like that. And I'm going to do the same with the blue. And then finally the purple. You guys take your time. And you let me know when you're ready. Got lots of colors. And we're just making everything look pretty funky. So you let me know when you've got your trees and your reflections done. And then we'll move on to the next step. I hope everybody's having fun and enjoying it so far. Your world is different than my world, so my picture's going to look different than yours, and that's cool. That's the fun part about painting. Everybody's world is a little bit different. All right, I got a few thumbs up. Are we ready to go on then, it looks like? Okay, I think so. Sounds like it. Looks like it. All right, so we've got to bring these trees to life because right now they're looking pretty flat. Like, they really don't look like they're too much of anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few little, about 4 in this little package here. And I'm going to dip them into the red. So I've got some red on there. And then I'm just going to dip them just into the edge of the white. So I've got a little bit of white on there as well. Okay? And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back into that red tree. And I'm just going to dab in a few spots, kind of here and there. Just to kind of give myself a little bit of depth. Okay, so I've got some red going on. Maybe my branches are going to live up here and they're going to look, they need a little bit of sunlight on them. And I'm just adding red and white, just kind of here and there on my tree. And I'm not filling it all in, I'm still going to leave some gaps and some spaces. Because, you know, trees aren't solid. When you look at a tree in the sky, you can see dapples of sunlight kind of coming through that tree. And maybe I want a little branch to kind of go peek over onto my orange, apples of white onto that tree. Until I get the color that I'm happy with. And all I'm doing is just creating depth. And when you create depth, it gives your eye something nicer to look at. Okay, so you'll notice that that softened up quite a bit just by doing that. So all I've done, my red and my white, and you'll notice that that got quite a bit softer just by me doing that. And there's still little spaces of white through there that you can kind of see the background. That makes sense so far to everybody? Hope so. that's my red and white Q-tips, just like that. Nice, soft, easy breezy. I'm going to do the same thing with my own. Okay, you let me know, and then we'll move on to the orange tree. But you got to give me a thumbs up or a let me know that you're good and you're ready to go. Like everybody's concentrating very heavily. Okay. Excellent. As always, guys, when we're done the painting, I can't wait to see. Make sure that you post your paintings in the comments section of the video so that we can see all the great work that everybody's been doing. All right, so we're going to do now, we're moving on to orange. So same idea. Orange paint on the Q-tip. Just a bunch of Q-tips. Grab a little bit of white. And you're going to do the same thing. And you're just going to kind of pop in and around wherever you want that orange to lighten up a little bit. First. And if you don't like using the white and you want to use a little bit of yellow in your orange tree, you can do that too. No problem. It's your world, whichever way you want to make it. Okay. And if you want to put a little bit of red into your tree, you can do that too. It's totally cool. So we're just going to grab a little bit of orange paint and a little bit of white paint on our Q-tips together at the same time. We're just kind of dabbing in and around the orange tree. Just kind of wherever you want it to live. And just to give your tree a little bit of interest and a little bit of color. Okay. And maybe I'm going to make one of my little branches kind of come right up over the top edge of my canvas. So all I'm doing is I'm just dabbing with orange and white paint, kind of blended, and it blends together by itself on the canvas as you go. And it just softens. And if a little bit of orange goes and lives over on my red tree, that's okay too. So see, I've just got orange paint and white paint on a Q-tip. And then just look at the two colors. So my red and my orange now, you can see just as I'm going along, become quite a bit softer than my yellows and my green, and my blue and my purple. Just by that little bit of white, adding just that tiny little bit of white. Your painting just takes on a much softer tone once you start adding a little bit of white to it. I'm going to do the same thing with the yellow. So I'm going to take yellow paint and white paint. I think everybody can see that. Yellow's a little bit tougher. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing. And we're just going to add a little bit of color here and there. Now if you don't want to add white onto your yellow and you just want to go back in with more yellow, you can do that too. No problem. Whatever works best for you and whatever you feel most comfortable with. I'm going to add a little bit of white here and there to soften it up just a little bit. Because my yellow tree, he's kind of tucked in behind. Looks like he's a little bit tucked in behind my orange and my green one. And that's okay. Just take your time. Happening. We got our white just kind of all softened up. And then we're going to do the same thing with the green once we get going, once you guys tell me you're ready to go. So I'll move this over a little bit and we'll start to soften up our green and our blue and our purple. Okay, you guys give me the thumbs up and you let me know when you're ready. All right, how we doing? How's everybody doing so far? We doing okay? What's our favorite color painting on here so far? Anybody got a favorite color or tree that they've painted so far? Which tree do you like so far the best? Julia, you like your yellow one so far the best? That's cool. Jennifer likes her purple tree so far. We haven't even got to the good stuff yet, Jennifer, so you must really like purple. Red and your orange so far? Excellent. Well, Michelle, don't worry. We're going to, like I said, we're going to keep going. And you can always go back in and add and touch up later. All right, so we're ready. We're going to take some more Q-tips and we're going to move on to green now. So same concept that we just did. A little bit of green together. And we're just going to soften that green tree up as well. And it's just quick little dabs, little pounces up and down on the canvas. Dab, dab, dab. Dab, dab, dab. And if your green tree is looking really dark, you might want to add a little bit of yellow into it as well, because you'll find that that'll really lighten things up and make it really quite pretty. And you'll notice that some of my edges are pretty sharp on my green tree. And just by taking the Q-tips and just dab all those edges up, just almost immediately, you'll notice that things start to get softer and more blended. Just bebopping along, just like that. Just dabbing, quick little dab. And some of your paint might be a little bit goopy, like I'm pretty goopy over here in this green section. So I'm just going to leave it because I really want to give that illusion of all the different shades of green. So it kind of looks like there's a whole bunch of different types of leaves all kind of live in there. So see, just by doing those quick little dots with my Q-tips, I just soften that tree up and just give it a whole new life. Make sense? All right, so it may still be goopy and loopy. I've got some goopy and loopies happening around in a few spots, and that's okay. We just did our green tree. So we're gonna move on to our blue one next. You guys let me know when you're ready. Okay, are we good? So I'm going to take some more Q-tips. I know I should buy stock in the company, I think, because I go through so many of them doing these really fun and online paintings with all of you, that I probably should just phone Johnson & Johnson and say, hey, I'm spending lots of money buying your stuff. All smushed together. Oh. And I'm going in with the blue now. Okay, it's still gonna look blue. All we're doing is taking some of those edges and just softening. And if you feel you get too much white on your Q-tip, then just go back right in with some blue. Just straight on blue. Maybe just add a little bit of white over in here. Maybe a blue branch is going to kind of go over here a little bit. I don't know. Whatever works. Painting a blue tree. Who would have ever thought that you'd paint a blue tree? And if a little bit of green gets in that blue tree, that's okay. That's what makes it all fun. Okay, so a little bit of blue kind of living over here. That's my blue tree. He looks pretty fun, I think. Kind of like the look of him. I think he looks okay. And then we have to do the same thing with our purple tree. Get that blue going so you feel good and comfortable with it. And then we'll get our purple all fussied up. Okay guys, and it's the same idea with the purple and the white, and we're going to do the exact same thing on our purple tree. Just taking those Q-tips and just kind of dabbing in and around and just softening all. And you decide how much white you want to add and where you want those branches to live. Just softening that up. A few little bits of purple here, a few little bits of purple there. Whichever way you want it to look, it's up to you. It's your world, it's your tree. You decide what you want it to do. Okay. All right. You guys let me know when you're ready. You got your trees all kind of funked out. Make them look all the way you want them to look. And if you find like mine looks a little heavy over on this side, so I'll go back in maybe later and just add a few little dots of white just so it kind of looks like the tree looks a little more airy. But if you like that nice full look, just like me, I'm full figured, go for it. Full look on a full figured gal. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand cream bottle. If you don't have one of these, you can use your Q-tip. You can use an edge of a sponge. You can use your rubber spatula. You can use a knife. You can use whatever you've got laying around. Okay. Into the black paint. So you'll notice I've just put a black edge. It's a blue bottle. I've just put a black edge. And all I'm doing is I'm just going to make a few quick little lines kind of in the bottom. Just kind of here and there. Nothing too, I don't want them to be too heavy. Okay. And all I'm doing is I'm giving the reflections of some of the tree branches in the water. That's all I'm doing, just like that. Some of them are a little, and that's okay. I just want the quick little reflections of the branches in the water. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing at the top, so just keep dipping it in the edge. And I'm just going to kind of go, just touch kind of really lightly, kind of in a few spots. You don't have to do this, but you're more than welcome to. And all I'm doing is I'm just kind of making my branches kind of peek through the trees. That's all. You decide. I'm just going to give those trees just a little bit more interest. Just like that. Nothing too fancy, nothing major. You don't have to do this by any means. You don't feel that you need to. I'm just adding a little bit of interest. Okay? That's all. You decide where you want your branches to live. Okay. Or maybe we can put one there and there. Maybe another one over here. But again, like I said, it's up to you. You certainly don't have to do this. I'm just adding a few branches into my trees because, you know, trees kind of need branches to have leaves. That's all. Just a few little bits here and there. That's all I'm doing. Just having some fun. Another branch there. So you can kind of see the branches that we put on first, and now I can see the little bit of the branches that I just added. Okay. So now what we have to do is we have to play in the water a little bit because our water looks pretty flat. And for that, we're going to take a Q-tip again, and we're just going to dip it in white. Okay. So I've just got some white paint on this Q-tip, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to press really lightly. Remember I said when we started, we made our shoreline and we made it look really light, really, really, really light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just press really lightly in the white, and it's going to be barely there, but I'm going straight across. I'm not going on an angle. I'm going straight across because our water needs to have a few little waves in it, right? And some of the black is going to smudge, and that's okay because it's the illusion of water down below. So you're going to get a few little white lines in there. You're going to get a few little black lines in there. But I just want you to go straight across, back and forth. And it's just little ripples of water. Just little ripples. Just kind of hanging out below, down below. Okay? Just like that. Nothing too serious, just a few little ripples of water. You can decide how ripply you want your waves to be tonight. Is it just a nice little calm breeze kind of rushing up against the shore, or is it a torrential rain? You decide. Okay, while you guys are doing that, I'll tell you a couple things. First of all, I have started to do private parties again. So via Zoom, actually. So if you are interested and you want to get your friends together via a Zoom call and do a private party, give me a shout because they're a lot of fun and you all get to paint the same painting and you've got me instructing you, and then you can all talk and chat with each other at the same time. I've been doing some stuff with scouts and guides and brownies, which is fantastic, and I'd love to do more of that. And yes, I do sell my paintings if anybody is curious or interested. I do not feel that I'm an artist by any stretch of the imagination, but some people do like them. Some people want to buy them, and that's okay. Absolutely, Ainsley, you can do whatever you want to do. It's your world, it's your tree. You can decide how you want it to live. Okay. So you guys let me know when you are ready. And we'll move on to the next step. For the next step, we're going to use the rubber spatula. If you don't have a rubber spatula, that's okay. You can use some of the sponge, you can use Q-tip, you can use paintbrush, you can use a spoon. You decide what you're going to use for this next step. When you guys are ready, you just give me a thumbs up and let me know when you're ready to go. Because as pretty as this painting looks right now, we have to ground it a little bit. All right, we've got some love happening. We got some thumbs up happening. Yay! I hope that you're starting to like your painting and that you're enjoying the colors. Okay. So we got our water kind of rippling along in the bottom. We've got our trees kind of growing here and there and everywhere. We see a few branches kind of poking out. So now we kind of have to add our rocky shoreline. So all we did really was basically paint our line to start off with. So for that, like I said, I'm going to use the rubber spatula. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways. Okay, so this is just some black paint on the rubber spatula of that line that I did, and I'm going to make like a little rock. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of move my spatula whichever way I want to move it, whichever way it wants to go, and I'm going to make some little craggly rocks. Okay, so I've got some little low ones, maybe a little higher one. Maybe this little guy's going to live over here. Maybe he's just a little guy. He's just little. And I'm just going right up over top of that. So see, I've just got a few little rocks happening just along the bottom. Okay. If I don't have a spatula, I can do the same thing with a sponge. So I'm just going to go kind of here and craggle it along. And maybe come down a little bit like this. So see, same idea. I'm just using different things. So you can use a rubber spatula, you can use a sponge, you can use a sponges, and you just want to use Q-tips. And you just have to make your shoreline now look a little bit more interesting. That's all. Okay, just kind of popping along that line that we made right at the very beginning, just to decide where my rocks are going to live. And there's my rocks. Got a whole bunch of rocks living on my shore. Get them all filled in, and then you let me know that when you're ready. Because believe it or not, we're almost done. Got some funky little rocks living in my funky little world. All right, can anybody guess what the last step might be? You guys let me know when you're ready, because it gets pretty exciting. This is just going to tie the whole painting together. Absolutely, Jay. We're going to do the reflection of the rocks. Everybody having fun? Are we liking our painting? Are we loving the colors? Is it bright and cheery? Make you happy? I hope so. I really like this one. It's just such a nice, fun, bright, and colorful painting. All right, guys, so now we're going to take our black sponge. Are we ready? Everybody ready? Give me a ready. See a couple of thumbs up. All right, so now we have to do the reflection of the rocks. This is kind of tricky. So you don't want to do the reflection so that it comes right solid, right up against the rocks that you just painted, because you need to be able to see where your shoreline is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sponge, just a tiny, 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 tiny little bit of black paint on there. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to come down underneath that line of rocks that we just made about 1/8 of an inch. So just a tiny little bit. And I'm just going to go back and forth. I'm going to leave a little bit of a white line in some spots. There's my rock there. And this rock kind of. And this one goes down. And I'm just going back and forth, just in a brush pattern. Just kind of back and forth and back and forth. And back and forth and back and forth underneath those rocks. And some of it's going to look a little bit darker and some of it's going to be a little bit gray, and that's what you want, because you want to be able to see that that's a reflection happening. And you'll see that I'm leaving a white space along most of that, because that's going to make it look like the water's hitting the shoreline. And if you don't do it in all the spots, that's okay. You decide. Okay. The last thing we're going to do, because we've just done those reflections, we're just going to add a few little strokes of white again, just to make sure it looks like reflections in the water. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is reflections. Every good artist needs to sign their painting. And I'm just going to go over here on the edge, and I'm just going to throw my initials on there. Just like that. And I thank you all. Again, please make sure that you post your paintings, because I can't wait to see them. Thank you, everybody, for being part of this. Look at doing one on Canada Day. If that's something that you'd be interested in, please let me know. If not, then we can certainly look at another date. And then I'm going to do a survey as well, because as things are starting to slowly up across the country and around the world, you may not want to be doing our safe at home paint parties anymore. So I will leave that up to you, and we will figure out a way to get that information to find out what your thoughts and your feedback are. But thank you again. I really do appreciate each and every one of you for joining in and having fun. And I can't wait to see the end results. So thank you. Thank you. Happy Pride, peace, love, and joy. Bye, guys.